Here's my review for Stellar Blade. Let's get into it. When I first started this game, I knew I was in for a hell of a ride purely off the visuals alone. I mean, the intro of this game is pretty intense. Once you get out of the dropship, you're immediately kind of jumped into the combat system with a little bit of a tutorial that teaches you how to attack and stuff like that. I really do like the combat system in this game. I've heard a lot of people say it was something that was similar to what you would get with like Sekiro. I'm not sure if I think it's exactly like that. I think it's a little bit more janky than a game like that, but we're talking about From Software here. But it was still something that I thought was pretty satisfying. I mean, I just like to parry people. Anytime you give me a game that has a parry mechanic, there's a big chance that's going to be my primary mode of attack in these games. I'm not a big dodger. I don't know why. I just have better timing with parries. But it was still fun. There's a lot of like interesting variety in the enemies, and even like the style of combat you get is different. You know, you have the regular sword fighting, but you also have the sections where you're using like a shotgun style weapon. There's like a section of the game that gets really dark, almost feels like they're going for like a horror type game. It's actually really interesting what they do with the combat here. And you get some interesting abilities, and there's like a whole skill tree to it where you can like upgrade like the amount of damage that something does, and it's really cool. The story for the game is pretty serviceable. I mean, there's the whole premise about you coming to Earth to kind of fight the Naytiba and, you know, fight the Elder Naytiba and save civilization and stuff. But it really takes a backseat to the gameplay, and I'm okay with that. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Souls games, so I like games where the gameplay kind of takes like the forefront of it. Obviously you want a story that's like engaging, and it is slightly engaging, but I'm really there for the gameplay in my opinion. No spoilers, but the ending was pretty decent, and I'm hoping that we get a sequel for this one. My favorite part of the game though has to be the soundtrack for it. It's just really catchy. You can definitely see here that the soundtrack is heavily inspired by the Nier Automata games. I mean, it's just the whole vibe in general sounds very similar to what you would hear in those games, and I ain't mad at it, man. That thing hits. I could listen to that soundtrack for quite a while without getting tired of it. So yeah, they did a good job. The boss fights in this game are pretty good. I didn't play on like hard difficulty. I just played on normal difficulty, but I never felt like anything was super unfair. The timing for parries felt just about right. You know, it is pretty satisfying when you get the dodgings right, because that actually felt harder to me than parrying combat. So yeah, that was pretty cool. One of the things that I thought probably could have used a little bit of improvement in this game was the platforming. I mean, it was pretty serviceable at best. There were a lot of cool segments where you'd have to platform to like solve like a small puzzle, nothing too crazy. But obviously you could tell that it wasn't a big component of the gameplay, and you could still do it and somehow get like a cool chest, you know, something that would help you craft like some upgrades for your equipment and whatnot. So it was definitely like, it felt worth it. It never felt like I was platforming to something that wasn't gonna help me, but you could definitely see that they wanted to do something with it there. So maybe in a sequel, you know, we see a little bit more of that. Then on top of that, there was like, you would climb onto something and you could like stealth attack the enemies, which was cool, but it never felt like something you needed to do very often. And sometimes I don't even think it worked. Like I would sneak up behind an enemy and all of a sudden they would just turn around and see me there, and I was like, okay, that shouldn't have happened. But overall, I think Stellar Blade is a pretty phenomenal game. I'm actually on a New Game Plus playthrough right now. I'm just really enjoying it. The character models are pretty great. The gameplay is fun. The combat, I super love the combat. You can tell that's like the forefront of what you're supposed to be doing in this game. Everything down to like the parry system and the dodge mechanic and even the abilities you get. It definitely has like a cool mix of different genres. The music, mind-blowing. The visuals, I mean, I can't say enough about the visuals. They did a really good job with this game, especially being a smaller development team. So definitely I would say this game's like at least a 9 out of 10 for me. But let me know what you guys think. Are you playing Stellar Blade? Have you had a chance to check it out? Let's talk about it. Peace.